So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying.
You write about healing through faith. At one point, you came across a woman with, quote, several visible tumors on her torso.
I just remember I put my hand on her and my hand just began to move, and the lumps that were there were no longer there.
So you think the tumors disappeared?
I do.
What do you say to people who are likely to disbelieve that story?
You know, they're not the woman that had the tumors.
Guys, Cori Bush is in trouble because this lady, and I'm not gonna call her like a hood book or anything like that. It's a black lady. For those of you guys who don't remember, she's a member of the squad, okay? AOC's crew out there with deranged AOC, Ilhan Omar, Mike Bowman, all of those stupid people, right? Like the dumbest people in Congress. And of course, she lost her primary, for those of you all who remember that.
Progressives should actually make progress.
Bell getting the win thanks in part to the backing of several pro-Israel groups. Bush is now the second squad member to lose their primary after Congressman Jamal Bowman suffered a similar loss to a pro-Israel Democrat in New York. But the soon-to-be former Congresswoman says she's not going anywhere.
AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down.
So this lady's in trouble. Her husband got indicted, okay? So she's about to be single, just like Sunny Hostin, out here dating and marrying these freaking criminals. And they had the audacity, the gall, to talk about Donald Trump, who is not a criminal at all, even though they managed to miraculously pin some charges on him. This guy is the president of the United States, whereas these other clowns are probably going to end up in jail because you're talking about fraud during the pandemic, which a lot of people mysteriously decided to partake in. I'm a little confused by maybe the government. I did think the government made it a little too easy, and I knew there was going to be a lot of fraud, but I'm a little confused about so many people in high profile positions with fairly decent businesses trying to engage in this. It just doesn't make any sense, because I figured the government, you know, they always like to kind of come after people for stupid stuff like this. It's like tax evasion or something. They're going to come after you eventually.
Breaking news out of Washington, where former Congresswoman Cori Bush's husband has been indicted on 2 federal counts of wire fraud. According to court documents, Cortney Merritts filed fraudulent applications seeking pandemic funds, one with the Small Business Administration in 2020 and another 2021 under the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Combined, the DOJ says those applications allowed him to collect more than $20,000 in government funds. U.S. Attorney and former Missouri Republican Party Chair Ed Martin announced the indictment.
Now, Bush tried to defend the security payments that she was making to her husband. I already knew this was fraudulent to begin with. I already posted videos about this a long time ago, but now the chickens are coming home to roost.
Before we let you go, let me ask you about something else aside from the moratorium. You faced some criticism in recent weeks over your push to defund the police. Campaign records show that you spent roughly $70,000 on private security, and some critics say that move is hypocritical. What's your response to those critics?
They would rather I die. You would rather me die? Is that what you want to see? You want to see me die? You know, because that could be the alternative. So either I spent $70,000 on private security over the last few months, and I'm here standing now and able to speak, able to help save 11 million people from being evicted, or I could possibly have a death attempt on my life. And we're also talking about the same exact people who say horrible things about me, who lie to get to build up their base. And then because they lie about me, I receive death threats. Now, they don't address the fact that I receive death threats after they go on air and say horrible things about me. But then they want to say, oh, but she needs private security. I have private security because my body is worth being on this planet right now. I have private security because the white supremacist, racist narrative that they drive into this country, the fact that they don't care that this black woman that has put her life on the line, they can't match my energy, first of all. This black woman who puts her life on the line, they don't care that I could be taken out of here. They actually probably are okay with that. But this is the thing. I won't let them get that off. You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend 10 more dollars on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives.
To be honest with you, I'm not particularly surprised because if you remember videos from the past, she's a person whose marbles, let's just say she doesn't have a full set.
Percentage. So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying?
No, I'm asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same, if a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going to taxes. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize the effective tax rate on the poor is less than it is on the rich, right?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not the poor.
What?
I'm very close to that line, but I'm not the poor.
Okay, so the effective tax rate on the middle class is less than it is on the rich, correct?
Reading here from freebeacon.com, former left-wing Congresswoman Cori Bush's husband was charged on Thursday with defrauding the federal government to illegally collect tens of thousands of dollars in loans under COVID-era small business relief programs. Shameful. People out here dying and actually needing businesses to support people, and you got people out here being frauds. She feel ashamed of herself. And Bush probably knew about it. Probably knew about her corrupt husband. They were probably in on it together. Cortney Merritts, who secretly married Bush in 2023, falsified details about his purported businesses in order to obtain more than $20,000 in loans from the Small Business Administration in 2020 and 2021. That's really that much money under the Paycheck Protection Program and Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, the Justice Department said in a statement. So there's more money involved here, so we're going to get to it. She refused to call Hamas a terrorist group, which doesn't surprise me. She is a leftist after all. They love terrorists over there. They're terrorizing Tesla dealerships and Americans. Right now, the indictment comes roughly 1 year after DOJ launched an investigation, so on and so forth. Bush used her congressional campaign funds. This is the kicker, which we already had known this, or most of you guys probably did. She used her campaign budget to pay for more than $812,000 on questionable private security services. She paid more than $150,000 of that money to her husband. Okay, this is a big deal right here because you got two different things. You got falsifying documentation on PPP loans, and then you have paying your husband all of this money, and you have paying security nearly $1 million for security services. That really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Even after the DOJ launched an investigation into the matter, Bush continued to tap her campaign funds to pay her husband $5,000 per month for security services. Imagine it's your husband. I mean, I guess it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, guys. Anyway, Bush also steered tens of thousands of dollars for security services to her close friend, Nathaniel Davis, who claimed to have supernatural abilities to allow him to control the weather and conjure tornadoes. Tornado, conjure, supernatural abilities to conjure tornado. Well, look, if you're so supernatural, let's see if you can get out of these charges. Because it seems to me like at this point, the only person around here that's superhuman is Donald Trump, because he manages to get out of everything and get whatever the hell he wants. So, guys, quick video here. Let me know what you guys think. You think that he's innocent? You think Bush is innocent and that she just was really scary and just really afraid that something bad was going to happen to her? I mean, it's not like people on the right was going around and blowing up Teslas or something. They act like they want to keep bringing up J6 as if they went there and they burned the Capitol down. Meanwhile, Tesla dealerships are being shot up. The cars are being burned and people are breaking into the dealerships, protesting inside of entire dealerships to where nobody can, of course, buy anything, right? Like, these people are completely unhinged and crazy. And I don't see a whole lot of people on the right shaking in their boots, but Cori was apparently scared to death to the point where she had to pay her husband $5,000 a month just to effort. It's all good, Cori, because pretty soon he's going to be taking it up the ass for free when he goes to jail. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
St. Louis County prosecutor is pointing out that, look, this woman is for defunding the police while she's paying for hundreds of thousands of dollars of private security. And by the way, the Department of Justice is investigating whether there's corruption there because all of the money is going to her husband under the guise of security.
Yeah, Katie, I'm pretty sure as a husband, that should come with the package of already protecting your wife.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you have to pay him to do such.